นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมพุทธายะนะโมธัมมายะนะโมสังฆายะ. Kính xin chào quý ông bà anh chị em, kính bạch Chí Tôn Đức Tăng Ni. Ngày hôm nay sư giảng bằng tiếng Anh trước, rồi có thể là ngày mai sư sẽ giảng bằng tiếng Việt nhé. So hello to everyone, good morning to everybody on the east side of the world, good afternoon into the evening to all of you in the United States here on the West Coast. I am now back in the United States because my my father asked me to come back to manage the office. So at the time of this talk, I'm sitting at his office and managing. I've found some time and have made somewhat of a 90% recovery from the sore throat, but it wasn't the sore throat that tried to kill me. It was the antibiotic that was prescribed. Additionally, the adjustment of the temperature and adjustment to everything else now that I am here and ecstatic to give this talk for tonight. Everyone knows it's tax season, so my dad's office is very busy, in addition to all of the immigration cases that have been flushing this office. And thanks to the wonderful female staff that is here, who are very intelligent, very quick thinking staff, are able to alleviate a lot of the burden so that I can focus on you guys. Today's talk is a debrief on my journey. I think everyone's been waiting for quite a bit to hear about what transpired in the 3 countries that I just visited and still wanted to remain there. However, my dad, I'm the only son in the family, so my dad asked me to come back. So part of responsibility of a son, I had to come back. And it also gives some insight how difficult it is to be me because of the dual capacity, a triple capacity that I hold as a son, as an interpreter, and as members of the monastic order. And so, I think just trying to make it work just like the rest of us. So behind me, you see Long Po Sad in the orange, and in the middle is our one and only historical Gautama Buddha. These are plastic rubber figurines. Oh, and then there's Long Po Man in brown right behind me. And then there's wooden Buddha statues that I purchased in Ho Chi Minh City. And this Sunday, you all can come to Blissful Beginnings here in Pinellas Park for a exhibition of these very rare statues that travel halfway around the world to make it here back into the U.S. The enormous amount of money that I had to fork out in order to drag these very heavy statues back here. So let's start with Vietnam first. I got some announcements, a debrief, and my subsequent affiliation with a monastery in Laos and how I fell in love with Laos towards the end. So first and foremost, my trip was not planned. That means I'm just going to get there and just find out what's going on, because it's been quite some time. It's been more than 7 years since I've traveled. So the point of the trip was to go back and just to see what's going on socially, economically, politically, and then just go from there. This is the way of the Theravadins. We don't really plan anything. And the way of Ajahn Chah is we don't even plan our talks. We just show up and then choose a subject to teach. So I went to Vietnam. I reconnected with my niece, who I never got to spend time with. And my niece currently is in love with her fiance, and I got to spend some time with them. And within 2 weeks into Vietnam, I received information that a Most Venerable wanted to see me up north. So I left up north. I went to up north and barged into a monastery and said, "Hi, I was invited here, and I'm here to see the Xaidone." And the Xaidone haven't arrived yet. So I went there, and they were having a meeting, and during my 1 week stay there, week and a half, I would say 2 weeks, something like that, a week, can't remember. On the very last day for me to say goodbye to the Sayadaw, I was caught in the crossfire of them debriefing. And at that time, the abbot knew that I was an interpreter and was very well versed in English. But as you all noticed, I was wearing dark color robes. I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want people to know who I am. And the abbot signaled for me to come right next behind him. So when most venerables speak, they're at their own table, and only of the same caliber can be present around, near, with them. And of course, I am an ant, comparable to the many years that some of these most venerables have, the caliber that they hold, and the position of abbots. And I was signaled to come over, and thus I did. And he says, I need you to translate for me. And in the middle of this crossfire, there were some things that was mentioned. There were some things that were said, and I had to deflect what was being actually said. It was the first time in my life that I had to break my own policy and not do what I was trained in the Supreme Courts, which is to interpret word for word exactly what was unfolding in order to save the two nations from further conflicts. So I felt like I was like, a representative of the UN trying to keep the peace, because obviously there were two different schools, and they had disagreements, and somebody rubbed somebody the wrong way. And I just didn't know what was happening. I don't have any prior information. I just walked in on the meeting, and there was a lot of fire back and forth. And to preserve the peace and sanity of the two nations, I decided to use the words necessary. And the funny part was the lay people who were standing behind, they nodded their head. They understood English very well. And they nodded their head. And they signaled to me that you're doing great. Just keep on interpreting the way that you're interpreting. This is what we need right about now. We don't need whatever nonsense that is happening here to get through certain people's ears, because it would not be good. And so I got done with that, and I lost about 50,000 memory cells, brain cells, because of it. It was a very tense, highly stressed situation, monastically speaking, from a monastic standpoint. That this was no joke. So I was up North Vietnam when this all unfolded, and then I received a call from a colleague, a friend of mine that I met years ago. And that friend, sit down, Bailey, sit down. Bailey's trying to get my attention. I think Bailey just wants to sit on my lap. Okay, Bailey, you sit on my lap. Just relax. My friend in Thailand says, come visit me. And thus I did. So I booked this ticket and I went to Thailand and didn't know what to expect. Never been to, well, I've been to Thailand once, but it was only a week. And so I got there and it was really hot. I went Bindabat in Thailand. Got to see two other monks that I've been friends with for quite some times. Was very moved by the actions of the people on the bus and on the streets. I needed mask to cover because it was dusty and COVID-ish type deal. And I was in regions of Thailand that were very, very poor. And this one woman saw that I was a monk and donated these. I mean, just the fact that they're trying to make a couple of dollars, but yet they realize the sacrifice of a monk, and they just gave more, and they just give and give and give and give. Then it was so hot that I had to retreat back into the hotels, and the owner of the hotel also surprised me by letting me stay there for 3 days straight to recuperate my body. I thought that was also very moving of how generous they were and how accommodating they were, realizing that I could not do bindabat and that they ordered food right every morning to my door. And towards the end of that, I learned that the two young owners, the wife was a professor of dentistry. She looked like 30, and I was very surprised. And got to know her late teacher that passed away, and I told her that your teacher is very proud of you because your actions spoke everything here. And I've yet to release that video because it was recorded on my GoPro. And I said to her that the actions that you took, that you didn't know that you took, you had information that a monk was coming here. And based on that information, you told your husband to let this monk stay here for free. So they didn't know who I was. They didn't know that I was Venerable Xaidone. They just knew that I was just a monk. So bless their heart for a heart of generosity and the priority of the monastic order. And this is exactly what is right about Thailand and Laos. And so it was just very moving to get on the bus with Long P Shine, Ajahn Shine. And you see people just get up and prioritize the seats for monks. It was very, 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 very moving, very, very emotional, just because everyone knows that I was here most of my training and time teaching, so I didn't really get to experience the things that Eastern monks experienced, except just seen online. Then I wanted to meet another famous teacher in Chiang Mai. I went there, and he basically said he was too busy. He was meeting 40, 50 meditators a day, and he's spending significant amount of time with them. And it was clear and evident that he wanted to be left alone. So I was in Chiang Mai, and Long Long took me to the Buddha's relics that came from India. Um, y'all, please believe in the workings of karma, because it's real. I was in Bangkok where the relics were, and I seen it on TV, and I saw the whole 1 million people came to see it, and I realized, wow, I wish I was there. I was not informed that the relics were here. As I left for Bangkok, the relics came, and then when I went to Chiang Mai for a week, I went directly into the path of the Buddha's relics and the two chief disciples, Sariputra and Moggallana. I was ecstatic. I published that video on my TikTok, how ecstatic I was to now be within 20 feet of the three relics that rarely leave India. Then, after paying respect and homage to the relics and to the Buddha, upon exiting Chiang Mai, that center, where I don't remember the name, I went into the path of His Holiness, who was responsible for delivering the relics by hand. And so I've yet to release those pictures on my phone. My phone was repaired today. It fell from Dominic's car and got ran over. Once again, karma, right? It got ran over and it was stripped. Here, is this the phone? Where's the phone? This is the 14 Pro Max. And a car ran this thing over, and all the memories are in here, by the way. Like 3,000 pictures and a couple hundred videos are on here for you all to see, yet to see. A car ran this thing over on the highway in Plant City and stripped it, literally stripped it naked from the OtterBox. It was in an OtterBox. This is not an OtterBox. This is a wannabe OtterBox. And somehow miraculously survived the impact and rolled its way onto the grass and still had Find My iPhone activated. And by the time I reached the exact geographic location on Colson Road, it was still dinging. You know, it like sang. And I was like, oh my God, the phone is still here. I picked it up and it was still intact. front and back was cracked, but it was still intact. Everything was still in it. So they were able to recover this today, $450 later, to access more videos for you all to see, yet to be published soon. So I went to, I was just ecstatic, and I realized, oh my God, I cannot believe I am here. And His Holiness gave me his the pamphlet that spoke about the three relics and his biography. So I was just amazed. I just could not believe that I got to visit all of these dozens and dozens of monasteries, and they went into the path. Talk about reinforcing one's faith, and is something to remember for a lifetime. Then I was in Thailand, and Venerable, most, how do we classify him? Most Venerable Abbot Ajahn Xaidone of this monastery named Dondu in the capital of Vientiane, Laos. And above all, Laos won my heart. It won my heart. And Venerable Xaidone was amazing 33-year-old abbot. I have never seen an abbot that young. He had been an abbot since he was 10 years old, making him one of the most holiest being ever that I have ever seen. And trust me, I test everybody along my monastic path just to see how holy they actually really are. And of course, along the way, towards the end of my Laos trip, we stayed at this last monastery, and there was no more rooms. There were probably 80 novices there. And Ajahn Don said, we have nowhere to sleep. We're just going to sleep out here. And I said, this is fine. I mean, we get to lay right here, this is fine. Well, our temple have the same setup. I'm okay. But he ordered me once again. He has 20 vasas. Okay. So when Ajahn Xaidone, His Holiness, tells you to do something, you just do it. You don't argue. There's a hierarchical thing in Theravadan Buddhism and that I love. And I said, okay. So I literally walked across the street. There was a hotel there ran by Vietnamese people in Laos that spoke Vietnamese. And I spoke Vietnamese to them. And they were surprised. They're like, what are you doing here? I ran back and told him the price of the night, which is equivalent to $10 a night. And Ajahn Xaidone, Ajahn Dong for short, Don, D-O-N-E, Don, said, no, I am never staying at a hotel. I am always staying at monasteries. It's just to show you how holy this man is. He refuses to go in places of noise. I mean, he's like a top-notch, stellar, model Theravadan monk. I went to Laos. I was ordered to go Bindabat, as expected, of course, and I loved it. They are so poor in Laos that I was invited to go from north to south of Laos to Ajahn Don's family to make merits, and there was dust everywhere. The next time you guys are on the road, be very grateful how we distribute fundings for road and Department of Transportation, because I had to hide inside of my robes like a cocoon to shield myself from the dust that was, I don't even know how I did not become dust. The red dust and sand that was on the floor. It's because you end up breathing it and living it. But I loved it. It was very adventurous. We stopped by so many monasteries, so many caves, and mountains that I was able to publish a few of those videos on my TikTok, and I'm merging it over soon. The caves, oh my goodness. I'm telling you, you will achieve enlightenment in those caves. Number one, the temperature is 70, 60 degrees, 65 degrees, 70 degrees. Number two, you will hear your mind. You will hear the voices and thoughts in your head. and you will have that opportunity to do judo with those unwholesome defilements. So it was very conducive for enlightenment quickly, very, very quickly. I couldn't tell you how much laughter went along the way. Then we made our way back, and I wanted to meet former Venerable Lucky, who I had great respect for because of his attainment in the English language and as a teacher. And he had like 6 or 7 years as a monk. I really wanted to see him. That never happened in Luang Prabang. So I went there and spent, I think, 5 days in Luang Prabang. And as I was there, I will call you soon. I'm in the middle of a live session. That would be my dad giving me some directives here. So I was in Luang Prabang, and I did not know that there. I mean, to go Bindabat there, which is the alms rounds. So I went on this whole line. First of all, the monastery that we went to stay in Luang Prabang, this venerable was tall, light-skinned. I swear he was like a celestial being. This man was so holy, and the energy that he emanated, I was like, oh my God, who is this man? So we went Bindabat, and he realized that I was a visitor from America, and we're going Bindabat, so he needs to figure out who is who. I was a visitor from America, and we're going Bindabat, so he needs to figure out who is who and how many years they have been a monk to put the people in line properly. And so all I hear was pansa, which is vasa. How many vasa do you have? He was asking them, but I understood, And I said 9. I held up 9 fingers. So I was right behind him, followed by the other 3 monks and the novices that was behind us. Oh, we went 45 minutes to an hour of alms round. And there were so many foreigners engaged in giving. And they all spoke English, a little bit of UK, French, Korean, Chinese. And this was captured on my GoPro because I took the GoPro and put it on my alms bowl. So anyone who's seen a picture of me doing alms round in Luang Prabang with the one and only monk who dressed in dark purple robes with the GoPro realizes this man is not from here. He put a GoPro on. It's not a very holy thing to do. It's such a holy act. And so some of these Americans, they said they were watching them, the monks. We just have this face where we don't smile. We just trying to conduct this alms round and then come back to the monastery. As one of the American ladies said, oh, they don't really smile. And I heard it like 3 other monks ahead of me. So I was prepared to respond to that. And by the time my bowl got to their hand got to my bowl, I said, I do. And I bet their reaction was like, who is that monk that spoke perfect English and responded in such a way? Oh, whew. So I had a lot of laughter there. What was also moving was at the monastery that we stayed in the city of Pho C. The novices there were also supremely respectful. The Ajahns left. Yes, I do have YouTube. Just click on the link tree. All the Ajahns left. The abbot asked this other monk that I was traveling with to chant. And of course, I don't know Laos chant. Of course, so the basic chants we all have to know. Iti piso bakawa, Namo tassa bhagavato swagato bhagavata tammo sandhiko agaliko ehipasiko. All of that we all have to know. But then there's like the extra stuff in there, extra Laos language in there, and there's Imina Sakarena. And so I'm like, I mean, I'll lead the chant, but I'll lead the Viet way. I don't know how to lead the Laos way. So this other monk, he was a little lazy. He didn't want to do it. So I said, fine, I'm just gonna go there and just chant with the novices, just so that it shows that I'm being useful. You know, we're being useful. We're contributing. We're visitors, and you know, visiting monks, utilizing the space and rooms. So we just wanted to be useful. So I went there, and in the middle of the chant, the two novices, they kind of messed up the rhythm. In the most basic chant, the Supatipano Bhagavato Sa Wakasangho Uchu, and then when they got to like Sami Chipatipano Bhagavato Sa Wakasang, and it like paused. And I was just chanting, and I realized that they just messed up. They stopped the rhythm. So the entire room was quiet because they're waiting for them to take lead. And it's like, it's okay. You don't, it's okay. But these were senior novice. So the baby novices, they were like, we're not going to overstep them. That's not respectful. So I like jolted my voice so that they can continue chanting. So, you know, I was like, Sami Chipatipano. And when I did that, I think to them, they perceived it as a lightning bolt from a visiting Ajahn. So they were all like scared, and they realized, okay, we're never not going to make this mistake ever again. So the entire night, throughout the 1 hour session of chanting, which was recorded on my YouTube and yet to be published. I'm sorry, on my GoPro, yet to be published. Oh my goodness. I was just like the whole night, I was like, wow, they're just perfect, on point, you know. Then at the conclusion of it all, one of the novices spoke English, and I says, you can speak English? And he says, yes, I study at 2-year university. I said, okay, Ajahn going to give a Dhamma talk. And the novice had the audacity to choose the subject for me, which he wants me to talk about me. And I was like, oh, that's too easy. Come on. In my head, you know. So I was like, fine. They want to know who the visiting Ajahn is. So I told this novice, I said, so my name is Venerable Chidao. I've been meditating for 24 years. And, you know, and I went on and on just for like a brief statement. But he had trouble trying to find the right adjectives and grammar. So I realized that we're going to have difficulty tonight giving such talk. So I said, okay, all right. Well, we're not going to talk about me. This is what I'm going to say. So I started speaking in Pali. So then I switched to the language of the Buddha, of which everyone just chanted. So I said, Samadhi, which everyone knows that's mindfulness of the breath, samatha meditation. And then I said, in breath, bud, out breath, to, bud, to, bud, to. And they were like, okay. I'm putting myself in their shoes. You know, I'm like, there is an American Ajahn here, and he just said samadhi, so we understand samadhi. He said, butto, that's Thai technique. I was like, okay, we get it. Then I decided to just give one more sentence, more like a couple sentences. And I said, vipassana. Okay, everyone who is a monk knows the word vipassana. And I said, vipassana, Gaya Nupassana, Vedana Nupassana, Chitta Nupassana, Dhamma Nupassana. Okay, you all can go to sleep now. Okay, all right. And then the entire room bowed to me, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, geez. And then they chant as their faces on the floor, too, giving thanks to the Ajahn. And I was like, ooh, okay, all right, go. All right, you all can go now. You know, I'm very simple. There are monks that expect that, and I didn't expect that, nor do I ever expect that. Then the next morning we went to eat, And again, there's no senior native monk there. They're all gone. So I missed the bindabat that morning. So the food came and they asked me to go eat. And I went to eat with another Ajahn that was much older. And I'm thinking, this is the abbot here. But he's not. He's just a visiting monk from Thailand. So he leads the chant, Yatha Varivaha Pura Paripurenti Sakaran. And then I chant with him, and then we eat. And then he gets up first, and then he leaves. And then I'm left sitting because I eat slow. And then I'm done eating, and they started talking to me in Laos. And for some reason, I just went from talking English to talking Thai. And I think I said, Long Pi or Ajahn Dao no speak Lao. And before I could finish my sentence, the entire room just ate, still trying to digest. Once again, their faces planted to the floor and they chant again, giving respect to me. And I was like, and by this time, I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, this is obviously customary here. So I got up and I said, Kapjai, 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 which is, all right, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they know what to do, which is to clean up the area after this. Oh, they left a very big impression in my heart in Laos. Ajahn Xaidone too he was such a trip. He advertised me to everybody just for the fun of it, just for the fun. I mean, just imagine that they carry on day-to-day operations, and then it's just once in every blue moons that you have a Vietnamese American venerable visiting. And very visible that I am visiting. I made it very visible that I'm not from here. And I made it very visible that in the event I do make a mistake, that I am not from here by wearing every other color except theirs. So everyone there wears bright red, orange, bright red. I mean, it's so red that it like whoa. Anyone have some of these sunglasses? Ajahn Don's robes were wow. And he loved that color. And I'm like, and then he tells me this is national's color. This is our nation's color. And I was like, oh, well, I brought every other color except that. I was wearing this color and the dark purple. And then subsequently, the darkest brown you ever seen in your life. It was like, looked like Darth Vader type, sketchy, dark. So everywhere we went, right? And of course, somewhere down the line, I told Ajahn Dong, I said, do you not have 1 million followers? Just to play with him. I just wanted to just play with him. But he took it literally. And he's been following me for a very long time. So he kind of like started gathering information about me. And the first night that I was there, he turned the camera live. And he says, Venerable Chirao. He says, Ajahn Chirao. Please teach us the Four Noble Truths. And that was a test. And there was the same test that I gave to my students a couple of days ago, which they failed. Just because they forgot. I'll tell you guys more about it. It was funny. It's just comical. So I gave a brief, concise, short explanation of the Four Noble Truths, which I will do again in the forthcoming days, a review of it. But it was a test. I know it was a test. Because 84 teaching is compressed into the Four Noble Truths. So if you want to test anybody, you ask them what is the Four Noble Truth and see how, keyword, how they explain it. And that gives profound insight as to how they practice, how they've thought about it thoroughly, carefully, meticulously, without fail. So I got a kick out of that. But I know that the answers that I gave and the way that I taught all of his novices, walking meditation, death meditation, loving kindness meditation, I don't think I ever went to Buddha Nusati, samadhi meditation, that he gathered this global conclusion about me. So along the way, I met some of the top calibers in Theravadan order. And I'm telling you, when I publish these pictures on Instagram and Facebook, you look at the faces of these generals and you realize the tremendous amount of sacrifice that they have made. And wow, they're like, I swear, I'm telling you, they're like saints. And he would tell them, like, my ear is like so in tune with their conversation that I can pick out the American words that's being said that describes me. And I hear the word America a lot. I hear the word Vipassana also. So I'm going to take a guess of which he says, this monk is from America. He's from Vietnam. He's not Laos. And he practiced Vipassana. He practices and teaches Vipassana. And he has a lot of followers. So the top brass, top senior monks, they rejoice in these types of news. And then they would like wave to me to come sit. And I would be like, what did I say? Oh, Namasaka, Ajahn. And they were like, ho, 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 sit, sit. That would sit. And I'm scared to death. And I'm like, oh, whoa. Again, customary that we're not allowed to sit, equivalent to their height on the table. If we have a lower vasa and we are junior monks, we are to sit below them. And here they are pulling chairs out, and they're like, sit, 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 just sit here. Have a sweet tea and have tea or whatever it is that they were serving at the time. So it was a very humbling experience. Towards my departure, of course, I'm leaving out a lot of things that I need to probably do a timeline, and of course, along the way, as I give you all the Four Noble Truth again, I will recall certain stories and retell it over and over again. But I was very impressed at the way how Ajahn Don ran his monastery, the respect that he commanded, and how diligent the novices were. So when we went from north to south of Laos, the novice monks wash our robes for us. And the one night where I was running out of robes to wear because it's dirty, dirty, from sitting in the truck, the open air truck. I mean, the windows are down. There's dust. There's stuff kicking up from the floor, the ground. Again, very poor country. No asphalt, no cement, just dirt. Right. They had to like spray water so to keep the dirt not up and cloudy. So I had like no robes to wear, and I gave the robes over to the novice monks to wash. And lo and behold, not our night at this monastery, because the machine, the washer was, I'm telling you, be grateful for the washers that you guys have at home. That's some high-end stuff compared to this. Washer broke. The middle of the belly of the washer broke. So water was coming out of it, and I was just in disbelief. And I took many videos, and I was like, maybe should I publish this? Should I not? It's like, but I have the videos. And this novice, we're all tired. Ajahn needs clothes to wear. I am like half naked. I need an upper robe. This novice was a senior novice, so he's like 17. He was like 18 years old. And he took the robes, and he took this brush, and he got down to business in the most unprecedented speed I have ever seen. Our robes are like queen size. It's huge. And I mean, just went at it, and I was just like, oh my God, he became a human washing machine without fail, without hesitation. And my love started to develop for some of these novices, and the stories came in that most of them were orphanages. And when I heard that and I saw their faces, oh, I wanted to cry before I left. Oh, I might cry now. And Novice Din won my heart. He was the one that I taught how to say I am hungry, and that was published across all of my platforms. That was Novice Din, and I call him Longpo Din. Longpo, that's the real Longpo behind me. That's Longpo. You can't go any higher than Longpo. But our order is a very serious order, and I wanted to make some of the novices feel special. And of course, Novice Din was with us for a good minute in some of the trips. So so of course I can't speak Laos, right? So I use Pali and I use the language of theirs to play with them. And I said Long Podin. And you see this big smile, like this little baby novice is now being called Great Master Din. He got a kick out of that. He got a kick out of that. It was our inside joke. We wouldn't dare to say that in front of other senior teachers. I just wanted to break the ice. I wanted to break the ice. Um, Once, because I am a Ajahn in their country, so I just didn't want them to always think that I'm always this serious teacher. Um, and they knew when it's time to get down to business of studying and the review of the literature. But towards the end, I tried to get information out from Ajahn Don, and he told me some of the stories of the backgrounds of some of these novices. And it sat with me for days on end. I sat with a lot of sadness, realizing the suffering of humanity in Laos. And it was really hard to formulate the paragraphs that I wanted to formulate to debrief you all on this trip, because it was very emotional. It was emotional from the actions of the people who gave us such deep reverence and respect. And they left such a impression on my heart. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the faces that I've seen. I'll never forget how they paid their respect, the offerings they made, and just the look that they give you, that we are the hope, we are the living Dhamma of the Triple Gem. And the novices look up to us as teachers, as providers, as the leaders that we are, to continue advocating and continue functioning our capacity and title as Ajahns to keep the monasteries going. So I decided to speak with Ajahn Don about fundraising for his monastery. For the record, in my 9 years as a monk, I have never been affiliated with a monastery. You all know that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows I'm not affiliated with any monastery. For deep personal reasons, such as politics, and for deep personal reasons, such as a lot of headaches that I know inside out, outside in certain monasteries, and how I disagree with the way how they run things. Let the record reflect that I'm also a monk that has been trained in nonprofit, that has been trained in leadership, that has been trained in systems theory. And I also have problems with our medical system, and I also have problems with our legal systems. That's why when I'm back in the United States, just now a couple of days, that I've yet to call down at this medical center and talk to them about prior authorization. And again, the delivery of healthcare here is not that great because insurance control everything. So I am quite of opinionated venerable when it comes to certain systems. Therefore, I have chosen, after 5 years of apprenticeship, to go off on my own and not affiliate with any monastery. However, this is the first time historically in my life that I have chosen to be affiliated with a monastery overseas. And it would be the monastery Wat Don Du of Vientiane, Laos. So I want to publish that information and how you all can donate to them. Or you can donate to me and I will transfer the funds. And hopefully I can transfer the funds in person. I want to give it to him in person. But if not, then we will do it electronically by MoneyGram and Western Union, and in compliance with United States law and financial law. And by the way, since I'm talking about fundraising and the transferring of money, It is also my policy that if anyone thinks that this is a fraud or a scam, please hang up and call your local FBI field office. In this case, I live here in Pinellas Park, Florida, so the local FBI field office is in Tampa, fbi.gov. It is also my job to ensure the integrity and purity of the Dhamma, and that the money needs to go where it needs to go. It needs to go judiciously and uniformly. It is very easy for someone to wear robes, to ask for money, and the money can go to a wrong place for the wrong reason at the wrong time. So it is my policy to cite the Vinaya, which is the rules for monks, that we cannot ask you anything except a cup of water. And it is my policy that the above information I give is particularly within the school of Qidao, period. That is what makes School of Qidao right, true, and just in its judicious selection of monastery and the judicious selection of the way we donate where it needs to go. So everyone can visit my link tree while awaiting for additional information. Venerable Xaidone published his actual name, not his Pali name, but this is his actual government registration name on his Facebook. So I will screenshot and put Venerable Ajahn Xaidone. I think he would really appreciate if you guys reach out and tell him that Ajahn Qidao spoke highly about you, and we can't wait to come visit Wat Dandu and to see all of your novices. I want to take this time now to talk about Wat Dandu. That Ajahn, most Venerable Ajahn Don, has been there since he's been a monk. He's been a novice since he told me he's been a novice since he was 10 years old. So at age 20, he becomes a bhikkhu. Now he's 33. That is a long time being a monk. That is a long time staying in one spot. And I think for some of y'all who are new to hear the word holiness and what that means is this one day you just have to go. And you just have to sit in his presence to realize that this man has been a monk since he was 10. And the purity, the nature of his soul, his consciousness, of the holy life is well deserving of a reverence, to held in deep respect. Most reverend, most venerable. This particular monastery have a cremation, of which on my YouTube, I published that video that I gave. I tried to publish as many videos as I possibly could while I was there to capture my state of mind and to capture my teaching modality and subject right there and then. So you all were with me. I wanted to carry all of you with me, even though I couldn't physically carry you all, but digitally to carry you all so that you all see that, okay, Venerable Qidao left the country. He's now here and he's giving a teaching on death right now. And Thailand, I was not able to visit any monastery whom was having an active funeral service. So therefore, I was very blessed to have witnessed 2 funerals, active cremations at Wat Dandu. And so I invite everyone to try not to spend money on material things, save up money so that we can visit Wat Dandu. While the abbot is spend money on material things, save up money so that we can visit Wat Dandu. While the abbot is still young. Keyword, young. Okay. It's very achy. I'm 37 years old for new people who are joining. I am 37 years old, pushing 38 and soon to be 40, right? Just pushing that 40 ladder. And I can tell you all that I don't smoke, I don't drink. The last time I drank something was when I was 22 years old. And that was just normal drinking operation as a college student. and I've never drank to the point where I passed out. So I have preserved the purity of this human body to the fullest extent of its effectiveness and efficiency. And I can tell you that at age 37, yes, I do look 20. Yes, I know that it's achy when you wake up, and how mindful I am. You know, I've been meditating for 23 years. So I'm quite mindful of my body. Gaya Nupassana in Vipassana. Gaya is body. Mindfulness of the body. I am mindful of how many heartbeats is taking place, the breath that I take, the intensity of the breath, short, long, noting techniques, Mahasi techniques, all sorts of techniques, eclectic techniques, and the amount of time necessary for this human body to recover from the heat, from traveling. So I would invite all of you young, wonderful, beautiful souls out there to preserve your body at all and any cost, and to chase. Somebody wrote chase, so I'm starting to say words that's on the screen. To pursue a worthwhile trip overseas with me. I'm due to travel again. No, take notice that I did not want to come back. I was asked to come back by my father, so I don't have a choice. And I plan to go back. I told Ajahn I was coming back. I want you all to be there with me. To be there, to look at the simplicity of life, to feel what I felt, to see what I seen, and how it will move your heart to change, to bring out the beauty in you, to bring out the love in you, was an amazing transformative experience. All in 2 weeks. You don't have to stay long. To sit and eat with us, to sit and practice walking meditation with us, as evident on the YouTube. To be in enlightenment, to be in nirvana with us. I will never forget that night when I taught walking meditation, and the other Ajahn, who also have like 20 years as another holy being. My God, he was holy. And I saw the look on his face, and he was in nirvana. And I was like, oh my God, right? There's also this other monk I want to bring to attention to all of you, which I recorded very closely his behavior. We were invited to go bless 3 new Buddha statues. And I published that video. You know, it's the one me wearing supremely dark robes. And I said, look, I'm in here with like dozens of monks. And you see dozens of orange monks in orange. And they chant a lot, by the way, a lot. Then there was this part where they're like, okay, we're gonna sit in meditation now. And I'm like, I couldn't be so happy to hear the word meditation, because I'm like, please, oof, my legs can't sit any longer. And we sat and we meditated while they were chanting and singing. The chant becomes singing, which is very beautiful, by the way. I've yet to publish that. So there's 3 of us who have very different color robes. There were 2 purple robes and 1 dark brown. I was the dark brown one, and the 2 purple, like maroon-ish, very Myanmar colors. So of course they captured these attention. The one on the left was chanting. Oh, thank you, Christine, for sending $10 for Venerable. That's so beautiful. It's Christine. Well, that just makes you a saint, huh? Everyone knows who gives more and take less becomes a saint under this school. So yes, visit my link tree. Make this thing go crazy tonight to inspire other people to give more and take less. Y'all gonna make me cry. I opened my eyes to my right, and this monk looked like he was 20. His robes were on point. Once again, when they show up to like events, their robes are just on point. It's so beautiful when they robe up the way that they do with the sangati and the belt. I don't even know how to do the belt. just because I've been a lazy monk for quite some times. So I just go there with my Sangati and I rope up Thai style and then with the Sangati on the outside. And we were meditating for like 20 minutes. And for the first 10, for that 10 minutes, it felt like 30 minutes to me. It's because I'm getting old. I'm 37, folks. I opened my eyes to the right, and I have never seen such a perfect posture. The posture gave insight into this monk, a potential monk that has entered the stages of enlightenment. 1 out of 4. And I felt it. I felt his energy. I was like, oh my God, who is this monk? And I just wanted to ask him. I just wanted to just go over there and just tap on him, and intrude on his piece and just be like, excuse me, where have you been practicing and who have you been practicing under? He did not move the entire night. This man was in bliss of nirvana. Bliss of nirvana. I was so moved. And you all know that the train is not to be moved by anything that's good or bad. I was so moved by his posture, the posture. And I just can't believe that these are Laos monks and they practice like this, because the impression that I started to form was they do a lot of rituals, a lot of blessing, a lot of making merits. I'm just questioning where the meditation comes from. I know that they do the mindfulness of the breath a lot, but I have yet to see that type of a meditation. But this man, this Venerable, my God, had probably been sitting his whole entire life. Once again, probably another Venerable that sat there since he was 10. I've sat for 23 years, but I don't know, maybe I have 10,000 hours, and this monk probably got like 40,000 hours. My God. Wow. And these are the scenes that I wanted you to see. These are the scenes and the energy of these beings that I want you all to feel. When we spoke about energy, you all know certain people walk into the room, it's like a funeral home. And certain people walk into the room and they're like Christmas morning. I'm telling you all, if these humans, these suspected saints, make me feel this way, make me a person who was trained to assess and evaluate in the courtroom. I was trained at the Second District Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court up in Florida. I'm trained to assess and evaluate, on a clinical platform above everything. And if they make me feel this way, what do you think you're going to pick up when you're around some of these beings? I'm telling you, it will cultivate such unshakable faith and confidence that you never, ever want to leave. And you will always want to be around them. You always wanted to just be there. Never want to leave. Oh, it was just their presence. My God, their presence would detain any human being to be there and to achieve holiness and to achieve enlightenment with them. It's safe to say their presence sucks you into nirvana. That's how I would describe it. Let me sit here and think of more adjectives. I can't. That's the only way to describe it. But once again, their presence, their human effort and presence and diligence and holiness, like creates a tornado where it sucks you in to the world of arahantship, to everything that the Buddha has been describing for all this time. I regret that I did not ask Ajahn Don so I can have a conversation with him. And then I get up and it's time to go back to the monastery. It's like 10 or 11 o'clock and they're still chanting. And the abbot there asked, each temple give me one monk to chant until 2 in the morning. And I was like, oh, no, I am not one of them. I am not that one. And of course, Ajahn Don wasn't going to let that happen anyways. He's already selected who was going to stay and chant. As I exited and I just watched the monk in maroon robes, the way he sat was different. The way he moved was, I just mesmerized, mesmerized by the way this monk practiced. It was impressive. I hope to achieve that state one day. Goodness gracious. The attainment of spirituality is lost of words. And it's something that I want everyone to go and write about, and to have some of these memories that you will never ever forget. All right, so um, going back to the monastery Wat Don Du, that they are right now building another primary building right behind, and I'm guessing that the old monastery there, the temple of where the Buddha statue reside is too old, and I think it's not safe to be in there because it's just old, and so they're creating a new one. And at the time of this talk, they're creating windows. Ajahn Don have told me it costs $250 for people to come and carve by hand. Mind you all, they carve the windows, wood, by hand, the art that you will see. So anyone that wants to be a sponsor for the windows, your name will be on the window for the remaining balance of time. Lord knows how long that's going to be. Probably 100 years that this monastery is going to continue before they have to create a new one or something. Outside of the monastery are the walls. On the walls, you see the amount of money that people have donated in Laos and perhaps their name. And so therefore, I found that something that I neglected as your spiritual leader, that for all the people who donated to me over the past 10 years, 9 years, I failed to announce those donors. I failed to memorialize. And before I left for the trip, I attempted to print out the Venmo, the PayPal, I think the PayPal only kept the past 6 months or a year, and I waited too long to capture all of those previous names. I need to contact them on how to do that. I think that was a very neglectful part of me, and the reason why it was willfully neglectful, because I don't want to be blamed. I need to live a blameless life, the Buddha taught. And I didn't want to be this monk that showcased, oh, this is all the donors. And I didn't want to make my holy life about money. So I had, and I'm also considered a young monk, even though they consider me as a Ajahn. In my mind, I'm still a young monk, and I'm still learning the roles and responsibility and trying to decipher the secular world who constantly attacks us. That's what people do, right? They just constantly, people who are unhappy or from other religion or faith philosophy, they just jump in and they just find reason. They're like, oh yeah, this monk's always asking for money, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I always cite the rules for monk, that we cannot ask for money. We can only ask you for a cup of water. It is you, the people, that have to feel compelled that, yeah, this man is trying to make his case about what is needed, what is the problem, and how we can help solve the problem. In conclusion of tonight's talk, I wanted to bring the awareness back to my motto on the t-shirts, which says, everyone aware of the t-shirt program that cater to teen suicide. And on the back of the shirt, it says, help us create a new world. And the fact that Laos is still a third world country, a very poor country, I think every single one of us have an opportunity to create that new world, which means we don't have enough money to repair a city. We all can agree on that. But we have the capacity to at least help one temple. And this is the temple that I have carefully chosen and selected, that they are conducting everything in accordance to the rules. They're conducting everything and they're under supervisions of other senior monks. I mean, everything's just right about it across all measurements. So I'm not asking all of you to create this world that seems big and grandiose. I'm sorry, guys, give me 1 second. Okay, TikTok asked me to verify something. I'm asking everyone to do your part to make a difference. We can't save them all. We can't do a lot of things all at once, but we can channel money that we can use, money that we use to buy French fries, to donate a little bit towards a monastery that also serves as an orphanage. And I think right now everyone's watching over their screen. I don't think everyone feels what I felt unless you went. No different than me describing how good an apple tastes because I bit it and I ate it and but you have to bite the apple to know if this apple is sweet or sour. But now I get it, right? When certain other people go to Africa and they were moved by the poverty, the lack of access to water. My water, there was a monastery that I stayed, and the water, it looked like green tea. I swear I was gonna die. I swear I was gonna catch like some bacteria and just die, and just catch some stomach bug or something and just die. So the water quality is not that great. And what I mean by help create a new world is that I like to see this monastery have the basic necessities, access to water, air conditioning, so that it creates a safe haven for all of us to come and practice. If you all chose me as your leader, as your teacher, then this is the monastery that I have chosen. Out of 3 countries I went, this is the monastery I want to be at. And I want all of you to travel with me and be there with me, because it is conducive by all measurement system, by every metric of measurement. This is the place most conducive to practice meditation, most conducive to know who you are, to learn about yourself, to undo your past, to undo your trauma, and so on. All of the clinical psychology stuff that I've been speaking about. So I just want everyone to just reflect on this. Of course, I'm going to expand on it, but I think when I publish some of these videos at the monastery, it's so much fun at the monastery. And you look around at the windows and the doors and realize that Venerable Xaidone was there. He lived there for 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half. And he was happy there. And the novices moved his heart. And he's advocating now for the novices. Above all, I don't care about the windows, obviously, but I do care about the novices. That's how we save lives, is we support these monasteries, which served as an orphanage to keep these kids away from trouble, from human trafficking. Just to let you all know, the dirtbags that is engaged in human trafficking have netted $3 trillion worldwide, according to Interpol. Okay? Everyone knows Interpol, right? International police that investigates human trafficking. And I've heard horrific stories with human trafficking. And I go to bed at night thinking about what a great job Ajahn is doing and keeping some of these individuals away from that world. And he pays for their education. They don't even have a van to take these kids 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from Dondu Temple to go receive education and come back 5 p.m. And he's trying to raise money to buy a van, a truck, a van, and it's not the truck or van that you guys think. Oh my God, some of the vehicles are so poor. Like the truck that I was in, I don't know how this truck ate some of the potholes that we fell into. And I took videos of that. And I published that on TikTok, and I'm just like, how is this truck still moving? It just went half the country twice up, which is from north to south, and then south back up north. Absolutely, absolutely astonished. Um, so I believed he saw one that was like $7,000, and I wish that I had that money for them to buy a vehicle, and for all of us to feel good knowing that we chipped in money for a dirt poor monastery to buy a vehicle to take these kids to school. We we live in America. We have public transportation, yellow buses, Bluebird brand, yellow buses, high, safe, visible, law that protects all of us, children from crossing the street. And these novices, I'm telling you, just look at the vehicles that I was in. As I sit here today, my heart aches because I know what it feels like to be an abbot and how much that he advocates for them. And the entire trip, Ajahn Don tells me about the heartbreaking stories of these kids coming from orphanages. And he says, oh, and by the way, I went to this market and I just wanted to see the market because we're stopping to take a break. And I just wanted to tour this market. And one of the Ajahn went with me. And these children came up asking for money. And I just so happened to have a little bit of money on my left pocket in my angsa. So I pulled out a wad of KIP, KIP. Laos currency is called KIP. And it's not much, but the currency is like 10,000, 5,000, which, like a quarter, 50 cents, a dollar. And I was trying to accustom to the amount and just trying to figure out like how much is this, so I can just start giving out 2,000 kips, which is like, I don't know, like 10 cents. But it means a lot to them. But one kid turned into like 8 kids in front of me, and they were fighting over the money. They were snatching money out of my hand, and I'm a monk. So I had to stop because they were obviously going to fight, probably kill each other over this money. And I went back and I told Ajahn Don about that. And our interaction, and I believe that was also captured on the GoPro. And he says, he told me, I cannot see sights like this. It hurts me to see sights like this. And then he tells me, I can't give them money. I'll give them food, but I'll never give them money. And we sat there with this pain in our hearts as monks, how we just wanted to adopt these kids to our monastery, but there's no resources to adopt anymore. It still hurts me until this day to reflect on that memory, that some of these kids should be rescued in a monastery where they learn about morality, virtues, the threefold training. And the young 33-year-old abbot he's exhausted. He tells me he's exhausted. And he has to rest often because there's so much going on in his mind about thinking how to serve, the longevity of the programs that he has, the nonstop changing nature of novices in and out, and people wanting to ordain and live and stay and practice there. Let me share this one story too about this one monk that had tattoos. So during my stay, there was this monk that had tattoos from his leg to his arms. He was pale, light-skinned, Laos, had a very unique face. And I was just trying to read this monk, and I don't know, obviously he's in our quarters, so I wasn't sure if he was a monk or a novice. there were information that I was just trying to gather, just to try to make sense of like who's who. I observed this monk for 3 days. On the third day, he left the monastery. He disrobed, left the monastery, came back with a child in his hand, with an infant, a little baby, little cute baby. I think I also took a video of that on my GoPro. And he was wearing jeans, and I was just like, wait, my mind tripping? I said to myself, did he change clothes to take this child around the corner on a motorcycle? Which is not like, not like a CBR motorcycle, but what do you call that? A scooter. And then came back because, obviously you can't sit on a scooter in a dress. Our bottom part of our robes is actually a dress. This is a square piece that we fold. And I'm like, because that's a little liberal, and that's obviously violating the 227 rules for monks. So it was clear and evident that he had this robe, and this was his child, biological child. So I went back to Xaidone, and I asked Xaidone, I said, who is that monk? And Xaidone says, oh, he just wanted us to ordain for a week. There was some things happening in his life, very stressful. And then Ajahn told me this. He says, when people are stressful and many unpleasant, not so good things happening in their life, they would ordain. And it clicked in my head that that's how they take their mental break. The young men who got themselves into this mess would go to the monastery, ask to be ordained, eat, sleep, stay there, practice meditation, chanting there, to recenter themselves so they don't take suicidal paths or self-destructive paths. And I got it. And I was like, So not only monasteries there serve as orphanages, they also serve as a place for mental health. I thought that was so beautiful, and that sat with me for so long. So I was also very mentally exhausted from trying to process all of this cognitively in my mind about how I can contribute, because that's what I do. You all know that. That's what I do. Venerable Chidao study, meditate, writes his book, and he figured out a way how he can contribute to help places like this that contribute so much in society. And it's no wonder why the faith of the people is so high. On our trip from north to south of Laos, there were many checkpoints that the police would set up to just see if people were trafficking drugs, weapons, humans. They wear the same color uniform as my country wears, which is tan, like super tan. And I just so happens to sit next to the driver because Xaidone yielded the seat for me, because I'm a foreigner and he knows I'm not used to sitting in the back of this truck. I'm telling you, when they hit a pothole, the top of my head hits the ceiling. So, and Venerable Ajahn almost threw up. Like, couldn't tell you how many times he almost threw up because of how bouncy the thing is. So he yielded the seat for me to sit. As I sit in the front, I'm wearing my angsa because it's so hot that I can't even wear my upper robes. The police officers see me as a monk, and they just keep going. Go. Obviously, we would stop briefly for them to glance in the car and check everybody out and make sure there's, obviously no weapons and spears and whatever it is, cocaine, drugs, and they would let us go. And that is the measurement of respect that government has for monastery. But they have this respect for monastery because of the sacrifice, the services that the monasteries provide for society, for community. That is so beautiful to sit there and think about this. It's so beautiful to have witnessed this, that a monastery serves as a place for mental health without medication, which is amazing. Lord God, that's so natural to me. not needing medication, mental health, a break. And you can tell that this novice monk, 20-something-year-old novice monk, enjoyed his time there, because I watched him. I watched him, how he behaved, how he sat, how he swept. And I was just like, everyone was at peace. Everyone was at peace. And what that peace means to us, what peace means to you, and what peace means to me. These individuals were in nirvana. They were there, and they were just instantly, they just entered nirvana. You know, and that's why I took the videos that I did of them sweeping, because I'm like, you don't need to study everything that I study. You don't need to know 84,000 teachings to go into nirvana. Nirvana is picking up that broom and start sweeping. Trust me. Trust me. Trust the monk with 1 million followers. Trust me. Trust the monk that's been meditating for 23 years. Trust me. So anyways, so I hope you all are inspired by some of the videos that I'll be publishing the forthcoming days. That speaks volumes of what I witnessed. And look at it carefully. Look at it real slow. And tell me what you think. Just tell me what you think. It's just some of the most beautiful scene you would ever witness on this planet. So that is why now we move forward into action. We have a privilege to know. Now everyone knows. And we have a duty to act, because we are fortunate. We are more fortunate than they are. Happiness is about thinking about other people. It has always been my source of happiness to think of other people. So I'd like to conclude tonight's talk. You know, it's getting late at 10:13 here. And I just wanted to give this debrief before it slips my memory into the details of my trip. If you have any question, please reach out. You can. I'm going to publish Venerable Don's information. Perhaps tag him or take a screenshot of his Facebook. Please reach out to him. Please think of ingenious ways to donate and help the monastery. If you want to donate robes, they also need robes, because there is no manufacturing plant in Laos for monk robes. They have to buy them from Thailand. So they're being taxed. I left all of my robes except one. By the time I left Laos, I had one pair of robes on my body and one sangati. That's it. I left 2 of my maroon robes and 2 of my brown robes at the monastery for them to use. So you can purchase robes on eBay, and you can send them to my dad's office, 8800 49th Street North, Unit 205, Pinellas Park, Florida, 33782. You can get with me on Messenger, on Facebook. And you know, I just want to do our part. We need to do our part. We can't just sit here and think about ourselves all the time. That's how we suffer, right? My pain, my misery, my money, my possession, my boyfriend, my this, my that. When we fold inwards, we suffer. And I just want everyone to feel the joy as they will be, as they will video record everything. They are getting into that now, of recording all of the donations, recording the robes that will be donated, anything that helps them, anything, they will publish it. So you get to see the results of what you have done for what Don do in Vientiane, Laos. We have some questions here. How do I donate from YouTube? You can visit the link tree. It's on my primary page, but I am putting the link tree there for you all on YouTube, which is linktr.ee/Xidone monk. But the link tree is on every single platform. So again, for those who want to give, they'll always investigate my page to give, because I've made it easy for you all to, number one, reach out to me via email, and I've made it very easy for everyone to access me. So it's like I know the people who wants to give, because they will go out of their way to give by any and all means, like how I have done for the past, Lord knows how long. I've been giving since I was like 10. But yes, do start saving now if you plan to travel. And yes, I will return back to Wat Don Do. And perhaps in the forthcoming months, as soon as the forthcoming months to come. So just wait for more videos. Now you all know what those videos are going to mean, why I was there, what was unfolding as I was there. So I need to speak in Vietnamese in my next talk, and then followed by the review of the Four Noble Truths. There's Vietnamese students that I've met along the way. So please be patient, bear with me, and we will need to do a comprehensive review of the Four Noble Truths, because I came back to the US. I gave my students exams and they failed. And I was just like, how, what? So prepare to just laugh even more, just when I would share those stories with you all, how they forgot certain key elements of the Four Noble Truths. And please look forward to more talks on simple ways achieving enlightenment, just because I figured it out. Okay. As we went from north to south, I profiled Ledi Sayadaw, Sayatet, Ubakin, and Goenka. And so, I had all this time sitting in there, and I just stuck this little thing in my ear and started listening to YouTube, and I was conducting research. And so I have a wealth of information to give to all of you in the forthcoming days. But at this time, it's getting late, and please forgive me if I've missed anything. I'm trying not to get emotional, but I really wanted to thank Ajahn Don, most venerable Ajahn Don, for being so accommodating, and the heart that you have, venerable sir. And the way you made me feel while I was there, and I don't think I took that time. I'll say that in the next couple of videos, but just the way he made me feel. And one of those things was the first meal we had, and he asked me, what do you eat? And I said, anything that does not have spice. I cannot eat spicy food. And when I sat down and they had the primary food for Ajahns, and that there was a secondary layer on top, it looked like a cake. And I was like, why is there so much food here? And he says, it's for you. And I looked left and I looked right, and there were 10 other bhikkhus, Ajahns, and I was third in line. So in accordance to the pansa, the number of years that we've been monks. And I was like, okay, I see rice. I can definitely, everyone's got rice. I see vegetable and I see chicken. So that's the only three I'm going to eat. And I shared the rest of the other accommodating food that they had there for me. But the fact that he went out of his way to accommodate, because he didn't know what kind of diet an American monk is eating and how it could adversely affect his health and digestive tract and system, gastroenterology. And he also accommodated by saying, if you need to eat after 12, you can. And I said, no. I am a senior monk here. Whatever you guys do, I'm going to do. If I have to, and I did, I ate once with them, and maximum twice, which is 8 and 12, which is 11:30. And I said, no, I'm not going to eat past 12, just because it's not fair to all of these other novices that's watching all of us. This is the many things the small things that he did to try to accommodate and made me feel comfortable as much as I could on the bumpy road, at the monastery, the temperature. He yielded the most coolest room in that arena. And of course, even the coolest room possible, I still had to strip and lay flat on the floor, where there was tiles. My skin needed to touch tiles in order to lower the core temperature of my body. So the fact that he kicked everybody out and he says Ajahn Jidao is going to take this room, that's his room, period. I thought that was very special, that he went above and beyond, out of his way. And I try not to be a nuisance, and I try not to be a burden, further of a burden to Wat Don do, and to contribute as much as I could. So I feel quite indebted to do the best that I can while I'm here in the United States in doing fundraising for Wat Don do and for Most Venerable Ajahn Don. So for those who wants to honor a living teacher and honor for those who have made the great sacrifice for monks, novices, in the leadership that they have exemplified in carrying out the operations, day-to-day operations of a monastery that caters to orphanage and mental health for Southeast students, young men and women and lay women who come there for spiritual retreat, for rehabilitation, for mental health, rejuvenation. Again, we Americans now will speak by and through our actions. We will not use words. We will, in fact, donate. We will, in fact, make these actions in a definitive statement that we have the capacity and we have the resources, and we will step in and help you. We will step in and help you, Ajahn Don. We will help Wat Don do succeed. We will help you thrive. We will help you have more money for monks. We will help you have more robes for novices to come. That's the statement I'm going to make. I've already made that statement. Now it's time for all of us to do the same. May you all reflect on today's teaching. May you all have the courage to step forward in hope. May you step forward to contribute. May you step forward making a difference by and through the small things that you can do for this specially selected monastery named Wat Don do in the city of Vientiane in the country of Laos, under the leadership of Most Venerable Xaidone. May you all be well. May you all be happy. May you always be healthy. May you be healed and be a significant source of healing and happiness for others. Until the very next time. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And thank you for some of you who recently made contributions to, obviously the phone went off. So when I'm doing these lives and the phone goes off, that would mean a donation has been made. And thank you for being an example, a great example for other people to see. And please do not hesitate, never tired of giving. Never, ever tired of giving. It is what's right about all of us here. So until the very next time, thank you all for being wonderful, patient listeners. And thank you for absorbing all of this necessary information to help us make a better world out there. Until the very next time. And look forward to more videos. Please subscribe on YouTube, as you all will see a flush of videos come towards your way. And again, watch it mindfully. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you all. I don't want to deactivate yet. I want to get with Venerable Ajahn Don and tell him I just completed my first. I just want to let you know I just completed my first live video in the fundraising process for your monastery. And please confirm with me that the information you give me is safe to publish for the general public, to make donations directly to you via MoneyGram and Western Union. That's a reference number. That's a tracking number. I'm going to publish your Facebook profile for people to also contact you directly. I'm getting slow, folks. So save the photos. Okay, got it. So I'm just waiting for him to give me the okay. He gave me samples, but I thought they were tracking. I thought they were like routing numbers or something. I don't know. 9 years I've never done a fundraising like this. So yeah. So I wanted to answer some questions here without being neglectful and just disconnecting. I used to be on Discord. I don't know how to run Discord. Maybe I should go back and learn how to do it. But Discord is just too much bots and all these things going on Discord. Maybe I should go back. Name of the monastery is Wat Don Do. I think I'm spelling it right. Vientiane, Laos. And I wanted to publish his last name also. Is this the right phone? Okay. All right, let me. Okay, Xaidone, X8. Someone spell this out for me, please, across all of the social media platform. His first name is Xaidone, X-ray, Xaidone, Xaidone, and his last name is long. Kommameaung. Okay, once again, Kommameaung, and all of that. Oof, Bailey. All of that is on my YouTube. YouTube is a unifying platform, and I publish most things on on YouTube. So please merge over to my YouTube to find Ajahn Xaidone on Facebook. That's how you can reach him directly. Because I want to ensure that people get to know him and get to know the monastery and all of the great work that they're doing. Can you believe that? Out of thousands of monasteries.
Yes, my information in on Facebook profile. You can get the information from my Facebook profile.
Okay, that was his voicemail that he left me. So I'm going to publish his profile now. Okay, all right. Let me just do that. There's a lot going on here. Boom. In reference to tonight's talk, this is the information of the Most Venerable Abbot. Okay, venerable, not vulnerable. Of Wat Don Do. Oh, and lastly, I couldn't tell you all how cute and adorable Novice Din is, and all the other novices when we go places, and people were like, "What monastery are you guys from?" And the little novice said, "What Don Do? Don Do." I was like, "Oh my god, that is the cutest little thing! I just want to take all of them with me in my luggage and just bring them home to America." And yes, you bet I'm gonna be establishing a monastery here, and you bet my dad works in immigration sector in immigration law. You bet I'm gonna have my dad file paperwork for all of them to come here. I want to take care of every. Those are all my children. They're just amazing. So, all right, everything has been published on my Facebook. So now you all have at it. Oh, maybe I should tag him, right? Goodness, why? Share. How do I tag? Come on. Okay, so I just like tag him in the comments. So you can just click on my comment on my Facebook, and then you can just connect with him right there. And then on, God, it's so old and slow. Um. So embrace on that wonderful journey with conversations with him. Thank you all. And are we able to be students online? Yes. So Christine, you can get with me one-on-one. I usually do a screening with students, meet them where they're at in life. Every student is different with where they're at in life. So my teachings are tailored per individual. And Robin Shepard says, when did you become a Ajahn and how long does it take? So let the record reflect that the title Ajahn it is earned after 10 years. So I have accepted this title 9 months early because it varies on locations. Like in Thailand, to be called Ajahn, you have to be like this great teacher. And I'm pretty sure it's like 20 or 25 vasas, Ajahn in Thailand. However, in Laos, every monk is Ajahn, not novices, but once they become a bhikkhu, they are Ajahn. And in Vietnam, we don't use the word Ajahn. So it varies different regions and places. So the terminology Ajahn right now for me is appropriate geographically in Laos because of my capacity as a teacher, of an international teacher. But this title is also true and appropriate that I am in fact an international teacher who sits on the board and panel of Buddhist scholars that uh, teaches in the sutta every 2 weeks, our biweekly discussion. So it seems right, true, and appropriate. But I am 9 months in accordance to its definition of elements. I am 9 months early, but I use the terminology Ajahn to show my love for the people of Laos, and I have in my mind perhaps I want to take reordination in Laos just because to show how much love I have for them. We all know I don't care about Pansa. We all know I don't care about any other. I just don't care about those titles. You know, we let ourselves go. Who do I think I am? I know, I don't think I'm this special anybody. I am just a visitor. I came, I conquered, and then I left. Um, but there are rumors that I have told other people that, if my heart resides with this monastery, then I want to take reordination in Laos. It just sounds cool. And it also advertises for Laos that not a lot of people go to Laos for ordinations. They go to like Thailand. Everyone knows, Thailand, ordination, 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 or Vietnam, ordination, ordination, ordination. So in order to create an impactful statement, it's like the great Venerable Chidao, just play along, just play along, The great Venerable Chidao sacrificed all of his vasa and start over again in the country that he loved, in the country that won his heart, and so he took reordination. And their ordination process in Laos is something else, and I've yet to describe to you all that there was a monk that he just wanted to take 1 week as a bhikkhu, and they dragged like 30 monks. One of them was an upasaka to come down, and I was just messed. I was like for 1 week as a bhikkhu, you all do this. So if I ask for a reordination over there, I'm pretty sure they're gonna drag like 50 monks at least. Oh man, so it's quite of a party, and I you know, just Theravada. So you know, I just wanted to make some of these fun things in my monastic life, and I think YouTube just like stopped. Okay, all right.